Welcome back to the Drop.Cast. This is episode 11 with our buddy Noah Mendez.
What's up, Noah?
What's going on, everybody?
I haven't seen this cat in a while, so
I know
we're
it's been
to catch
what
up.
over a year now, right?
I think so.
Damn near. It was cold.
The
when
calendars
we did
are like falling off, the months and the days. I'm getting lost in time.
It feels like they're shredding the days.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we were talking about in the last one with Jack. We were like, not last November, last November. And it's just like, wait, what?
We missed a whole year.
Yeah, right?
It's so strange.
The lost years.
But I met you guys during the pandemic, right? Was it?
That was like one of the first shoots that I was on in kind of a long time, in my opinion. I mean,
So we've done a couple, I've done a couple shoots with you, being the hotel shoot and then that garage shoot. Am I missing any other ones?
I think just those
was
two.
it just those two?
Yeah.
the garage shoot was the one that I was on. And that, like I said, I think that was the first set I'd been on in a while, just because of everything that was going on.
That was Garrett Salmon's shoot for
Light panels.
Yep. So we got to play around with those 2x1s and 1x1s and emulate some cop lights and.
Yeah, that was pretty
actors.
sick.
No, wait, I was
Shout
on
out
show.
to
No,
Martez.
you weren't on the bar shoot, were you?
Yes, I was.
Oh yeah.
Yep,
so there you go.
Lo-fi. Yeah.
Is that what's called Lo-Fi?
Yeah.
That place is pretty sweet. I miss living over there, dude, because I would just walk and get lunch and.
Are you not above Carytown anymore?
No, so I'm moved back home because my girlfriend isn't going to Michigan anymore. So she's now doing her own thing, and we just decided to kind of
Save money.
leave Ann Arbor, save some money. We actually just got a studio in Eastern Market that we're moving into next week. So
Okay.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, moving home to me would be an amazing thing, but my parents would just be like, "Yeah, right."
I
dude.
feel like,
Like,
yeah, your parents would.
no, it's
Right.
like, yo, but the economy and this and that.
Right. No, my parents are pretty cool about it. So, obviously they see I want to save some money, and I don't know where I want to go though. I really liked Ann Arbor, really great neighborhood. It was, you ride too, John. So great.
Yeah, wake up and hit anywhere.
Great place to ride. Nice bike lanes. Not getting almost hit by cement trucks and stuff like.
Did you get to ride in the newer ones that they just built all over the place?
Yes. Yeah, I did. It was. They're so nice.
Yeah.
So nice.
So for those of you that don't know, you guys are talking about road biking. Like you guys put down some miles on the road bike, right?
Yeah.
He definitely puts down more than me.
I see him. I'm just.
And my buddy Will puts
you-
down way more miles than I do. Will's an animal, dude. Him and his brother, they've went out and dragged me for 70 miles, man. And I'm just like,
I know. I've seen your guys' Stravas and like your screenshots and stuff. Like he'll be like, 9 a.m. in Detroit, like beautiful day for riding. I'm like, dude, it's like 33 degrees out. And like an hour later, I see another screenshot and it's like a huge loop. Like
people always say, my parents always think I'm like insane for riding in the cold, but it's like just get a nice puffer and your body's moving. You're gonna stay warm.
Yeah, I can't ride in the cold. There's like, I've had bad asthma growing up and everything like that. So whenever the cold air starts to get in my chest and in my nose, everything slowly starts to close.
That sucks.
And I like can't breathe, and it's not pretty.
Have you been able to ride at all around here though? Like
Ipsy is a terrible place to ride.
Really?
Yeah, there's like Ford Lake Loop. We do that all the time. But even just that loop, like getting over the highway is treacherous. And I got a single speed again because my first one got stolen, but I couldn't. It was either trails or like riding my mountain bike on the asphalt and eating up my tires and stuff. So I had to get.
I need to get my mountain bike fixed.
We've hit DTE a couple times this past season.
I love DTE, probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah, my buddy Will took a hard spill there this past summer. It was
Really? Is he okay?
He did too.
He sent it, and he probably went a solid 15 to 20 feet and landed on his face.
Was he wearing a full face?
He wasn't wearing a full face. He was like broke his glasses off him, like he's got everything. It was just.
I thought you were gonna say jaw and teeth or something.
And when you see somebody get hurt, and your instinct is to, once you see that they're okay and they're not dying, you kind of like want to laugh. And I was cracking up, dude. And he's like, "Don't laugh, don't laugh." I'm like, "Oh God." I'm like, "I'm sorry, dude."
Yeah, I took a super bad spill at Boyne.
I was thinking of the other one when I was trailing right behind you when you washed over that berm.
Oh, I did do that. Yeah,
that was another spill.
At DTE. That was like 25 miles an hour, and
I was trailing right behind you, and you hit this berm, and your front
I committed
tire
too hard, and I went over the top of the berm. It was like Sugar Loop.
I don't remember which loop.
Just down the, where like there's those S bends that go up to the top of the hill. We were coming the opposite way, so we would go up the long way and then come down the S bends, and you come down and there's all those berms after you just hit all those jumps, and I just went right over this berm into a tree at like 20 something miles an hour, and I almost cleared my bars, chested the tree. The tree's here, my head is to the left of it, so I didn't make contact with that, but then like my stem went right into my inner thigh, and I just had a big ol'
I got the front row seats view of that being right behind.
It could have been
too.
way worse.
Yeah, lucky enough I haven't had any serious crashes or anything, but I haven't done any downhill stuff or I'm just kind of a wannabe athlete, so I just
Dude, me too. I mean, I can whip a little bit. That's it. And when I mean whip a little bit, I mean if I don't case it, like my tire will get a little out there. That's about it.
I don't do much road biking, but downhill or like just mountain bike riding and like trail riding for sure, because that's like the closest thing that I can get to motocross personally. And like
I forgot you ride motocross.
Yeah, I grew up racing motocross and stuff, and like that's just like the closest that I can get is like to that feeling of like, you guys know it, I'm sure, where you don't think about anything else. Yeah. It's just like on the track or whatever.
Yeah, I grew up riding a 2-stroke 175.
I think we talked about this.
Yeah, old 96 CRF, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Did you race at any tracks?
No, I never raced. I only went on like a local track that one of my uncle's buddies that has a construction company excavated a nice
that's
like, personal
dope.
thing.
You know, like
it was cool.
Space.
Yeah, I never really got too comfortable though with the. Me either. With the throttle.
I've ridden a motorcycle like twice by myself, and each time I was like, okay, down, then up, or is it up and then down, and like first, second, third. Yeah, and like other than that, that's about it.
I'm definitely more comfortable on 2 wheels than 4 though, as far as like 4-wheeling and stuff like that. I'd much rather be on a bike.
Growing up racing motocross, we always shat on the quad racers and stuff. their couches on wheels.
It's probably
no respect for
it's
quads.
Probably like the mountain bike riders and trail runners.
Yeah, pretty much. Same sort of beef.
Yeah.
Or have you ever been on DTE when somebody's been on a horse?
What?
Oh, I've never seen a horse.
I haven't, but you're technically allowed to. And like I've seen like piles of horse shit on the trail before.
hitting the doubles with the old saddle.
Yeah,
that's funny. Funny.
All right, well, that's enough mountain bike talk.
Yeah.
Noah, tell us.
Why don't we just kind of like break down a little bit of how
you got into things and how you do things, man.
Yeah, so I'm Noah Mendez. I turned 23 next week, and I know, right?
I do remember you were young, and I was like, damn, he's out here.
Yeah, how old are you guys again? I forget.
28.
I'm 26.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Now I'm feeling kind of like the baby in the room.
It's okay. I'm still like 20 at heart.
Yeah, so I run a media company called Midtown Media Co. We do a lot of events. We do a lot of weddings. Before the pandemic, my team did about like 50 weddings.
How many people are you working with?
So I was just thinking about that last night. I have a total, like including myself, there's 8 of us.
Are they like employees or contractors?
So they're contractors. Most of them are contractors, videographers, photographers. Mm-hmm. Will is our lead editor. He's kind of full time. He does all the video editing. And, I occasionally pick up a video edit or two, and I mostly do a lot of, photo editing, considering I do, like, lead photo for a lot of our events, or at least weddings.
And you shoot on the Mark IV?
For stills, yeah, I do.
5D Mark
yeah,
IV?
5D Mark IV. And we do a lot of 1DX Mark II for wedding stuff. Really good photo video cameras. Mm-hmm. So I run Midtown Media, and then I do a lot of agency work, freelance for other larger production companies and stuff that's going to be social media content for like Jeep. Yesterday we were doing some stuff for Ram. I just got doing some projects for PBS and who else? There's just a bunch of like local brands that keep us busy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been really cool. I started. Considering I started with like, wedding stuff when I was about like 14, it's been amazing to.
You've been shooting for that long?
Yeah. I started shooting. Well, I think it was like the summer. I was about like 13 and a half, about to be 14. And my neighbor across the street, Kyle Martin, he was like, I was just messing around with my mom's camera, just doing some like Instagram stuff, right? And he was like, "You want to try video?" And I'm like, "I don't even really know what I'm doing with photos, but sure."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, I do a lot of weddings." So, and I'm like, "Weddings? That's a lot of responsibility, right?" Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm not too sure if I want to do that." And he's like, "Listen, just come tag along, and just feel the ropes out. So I spent a full summer doing that, getting like $50 a wedding and just learning the ropes of not only how to work the camera, how to, properly use audio equipment, lighting,
You're 13 and 14 at this time?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. You got that early jump.
I know, right? Yeah.
Now you get your early 10,000 hours or whatever.
For real. Yeah. For real. And now I look at 14-year-olds and I'm like, fuck, I wouldn't trust a 14-year-old at my wedding. Yeah. But no, it was cool. I think one of the early like kind of shock factors where every time I would take a meeting with a couple at Starbucks, I would be sitting in the Starbucks and they'd walk in and I'd kind of like, I recognize when someone's looking for me, right? Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, hi, I'm Noah. Like, nice to meet you. And they'd be like, you're Noah? They're like, how old are you, kid? But it was, early bumps in the road, I guess.
When did you start like doing that? Like, because you said that you were with another person who kind of took you under their wing, but like when did you go out and be like, yeah, this is my company now, or I have my own company? And
so I spent that first summer like learning with Kyle, and that was just really a huge step in my mindset, right? Like I didn't realize that you could even make a career out of camera work. I didn't realize that you could build a business around it. And so I did that for that summer. And then after that, I remember, I think my mom, we were at the computer and my mom was doing taxes and she's like, you need like an LLC for this. And I'm like,
that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's true. And I was just like, I don't know what that is.
How old were you when that was happening?
14.
What the?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Work ethic.
Have you ever worked outside of video job?
I've never had to clock in anywhere, which has been...
Holy fuck.
That's
sick.
crazy.
I think that's one of my biggest weaknesses, though. I've never had to...
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know. I feel that way about corporate sometimes, where it's just like, like...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyways, we like had to have like an LLC. It was like Image by Noah first. And, we... that's when I kind of felt that this was going to be something more, right? Like it wasn't just like doing some family sessions. It was like 3 weddings a weekend consistently the whole summer.
Did you have a lot of friends growing up?
No, not really. To be honest.
That's what I'm saying. Because like usually a kid would be super distracted by a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, I've always been the very like... not secluded, but I never really was able to connect with a solid group of like friends, right? Like I always was just, my mind just goes everywhere between, I played hockey since I was like 2.5 years old, and, being in team, and I think your last guest was talking about how team sports really affected.
Yeah, Jack.
Jack was saying that, and I really understood that because team sports really helped me kind of have that leadership trait within me. So like when it came time to finding people that I was looking for to shoot, or people to, help me with certain tasks that I couldn't do, it really helped having that team sports background, things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started pretty young and like was able to really just feel out the industry and kind of feel where I wanted to put myself, right?
Are you from a family of entrepreneurs or just like business oriented?
No, not at all. So my biggest supporters have been my girlfriend, Savannah, who I've been with almost 8 years, and my mom. And those two were with me when I first thought I was going to make a career out of selling prints at art fairs and street shows. So that was that summer that I was 14. And
Have you ever sold prints at art fair?
No, not before. So when I was like 14, I like borrowed $1,000 from my mom, spent a couple $100 on prints and mats, and then got myself a booth, and we just about broke even. So it was a learning experience. And then
how old was that?
That was when I was like 14, 15.
You should have fucking slapped the E's on backwards, made it look like a lemonade stand, really sold that aspect. People would be like, damn, let's buy this.
Oh, I did. We broke even, which I consider a win. So,
but you did sell, you had a booth at Art Fair?
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who's done that.
I had a couple booths, and honestly, I think the biggest thing I took from that was being able to interact with people. Like at some of the fairs, some of the art shows, there was just like all retired people, older retired people, and I would just sit there for 8 hours for 3 days in a row, and I would just talk, dude, and I would just go into depth with just random people telling my story and telling what my goals are.
You felt exhausted at the end of the day, I bet.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Where did you grow up?
I grew up downriver. I was born in Wyandotte, and my parents moved to Brownstown when I was younger, and that's actually when we moved to Brownstown. My neighbor across the street was the guy who ended up teaching me weddings.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool, man. Just getting to experience weddings, and that was my introduction to this industry. I know weddings have a really, really bad taste in a lot of creators' mouths, whether it's
I love it.
Whether it's photo or video. And rightfully so, because weddings are they're very strenuous. They're definitely the cookie cutter production of this industry. And
I like to think of weddings. So at first, weddings used to scare the shit out of me, because you got that one moment, you've got this and that, and it's like there's so much resting on your shoulders and everything. But I think it was about like our third wedding that we did, which I think is just all of them. By the end of it, I realized how, when you say cookie cutter, like it's perfect for that, because like how tight and how well wrapped the itinerary and the schedule and everything is.
Right,
it's like
right.
This, then this, then this, and it's just one moment, this. But photography is different. With video, it's, in my opinion, easier. Like I've shot a wedding photography style a couple times, and it was
photo's different harder too, because you have to really direct the couple and things like that. But I mean, honestly, the cookie cutter aspect of it is the reason I've been able to really take advantage of efficiencies and create a real business model around it, and create a medium-sized business. A lot of my friends have, like some of the guys that I'm working with have, $500,000 revenue wedding video businesses, and some of them are exceeding $1 million. Which is, to me, is just like, if you told 14-year-old me that, I would have been like, what the fuck, dude? Are you serious?
Another cool thing about weddings that I think is really overlooked in the creator world is like, you're like giving somebody an experience. Like,
absolutely.
That's something that they're going to take with them the rest of their lives.
That's what I'm most proud of, is that, a lot of my couples are very happy, and, we're doing all different cultures of what. My favorite part has been seeing how every culture comes together and celebrates the same thing. And it's all essentially the same thing. Even if it's in a different language, my team, I've been able to really show my team that this is all the same. Mm-hmm. This is all the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. You just have to know what and where to be. You know what I mean?
I shot a Hindu wedding one time, and it was like way over my head.
Indian weddings are amazing.
So much going on.
I've done an Indian wedding and an Arabic wedding before, and like the Indian weddings being like 7 days long and stuff are just insane.
Yeah, those are our biggest clients for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I can't imagine the budgets on those like big.
Yeah.
And the food is outstanding.
I mean, I've shot for Killer Creations before. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, Mike Periano's a great friend of mine.
Yeah,
shout out to Mike.
Yeah, Mike's a good dude for sure. And those weddings are just huge. Flying them all over the place for all these different locations, having family celebrations all over the United States or what have you.
I always get nervous.
Yeah, we just booked one in Chicago, an Indian wedding in Chicago, which would be pretty fun.
And that's probably only one day of the celebration.
I think they got us for 2 days. I want to say. Yeah, we've been able to do a little bit of traveling for weddings, but most of the traveling is agency work. We were just in. I just got home from almost 2 months on the road of just.
I was going to say, every time we text to try to get you in here, like, we'll be bouncing back and forth. It's always like, I'm flying back, or I'll be in town, or like I'm not in town, and I'm just like, damn.
Yeah, this past year, I really felt like, not that my goals have been met, but I felt for the first time since I was 14, and I first got like $500 for a wedding. In that moment, someone handed me that $500 cash, and you know something, right? Mm-hmm. Like you feel something within. Like for the first time this past year, I've really felt like I'm heading in the direction that I want to go, right? Like,
dude, hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like being on the road and just like not having time for anything has felt like it's felt nice. It's felt nice. Luckily, I don't have any super crazy obligations like a 9-to-5 or a kid or something.
Yeah, I was literally about to say like a child.
Yeah, like a child. The business is my child, really.
Yeah. What is the saying? Long days equal short years, or something like that. And like short days equal long years, and you want to go for the short years.
Makes sense.
Time just flies, and you stack that money.
Right, stack the money.
Like that.
Something like that. I'm butchering the quote.
We'll take it for what it is.
Yeah. We study butcher quotes on here.
Yeah, that's kind of our specialty. But so Midtown Media Co. not only does weddings, but you guys do a lot of other stuff, like you were talking about last time.
Right.
Like the whole entire idea the whole entire reason we did the Porsche thing is just because we saw you doing that Jeep thing. And you should talk about that a little bit, because what you were telling me on the phone was pretty funny stuff.
Yeah, Midtown Media does a lot of, we do a lot of events and weddings, but I've been able to get a few reoccurring like clients as far as like school districts, which have decent budgets. A couple larger companies, like there's a solar company that we work with that does, a yearly, every December where we go and cover their events and stuff like that, which is a good budget, things like that. So between the weddings and that, we've been able to build a small sustainable business, but we've also been able to have some really fun experiences just going, putting together, producing and coming up with some fun concepts to shoot and things like that. And that kind of leads me to one of the car thing that we were doing. So a lot of what I do is automotive. Free Age Productions, who's based out of Eastern Market. Shout out to
DP for them. Shout
out to Jim and Danny. Danny's actually their DP, and I've been doing a lot of AC work. I've been doing a lot of second shooting for them, and they really put my foot in the door as far as the larger agency stuff. They've really provided me some amazing opportunities to go around the country and travel with them and really learn what set life is like, right? On a corporate or school district job, I'm never going to have, 20 people on set. Yeah. So I've been able to, get comfortable in those 20 person crew environments and stuff like that, and working with clients and working with, interviewing people that are, of a high status, Mary Barra, or, yesterday we were with the fire commissioner of Warren, which was pretty cool. So like Jim and Danny at Free Age have really provided that like window into what I could turn the business into, right? As far as like an agency, bidding on projects, showing me a different business model.
It's like what I say all the time, you're the average of all your friends. So like if you get put in an environment where somebody's like kind of above you in a sense, then it's just like, okay,
right.
It's only going to be a matter of time until you're like walking along the staircase with them.
Yep. It's all who you place yourself in a room with.
Yeah.
But they've they do a lot of automotive projects, and like I said before, like PBS stuff that I've shot for them and things, and I kind of wanted to go and do my own automotive project. So I kind of like was trying to get it as close to their quality as I could with two people. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was
Tell us about it.
So my concept, my parents' neighbor just got a brand new like 392 Wrangler, the Hemi powered Wrangler, which, by the way, there should never be that much power in a box on wheels, because he gave it to me for the weekend, and it's scary, to be honest. Like I love speed and I can handle speed, and it was just like it was crazy.
I hate driving those Wranglers. It
was crazy. Yeah,
I've driven one of those through the mountains, but it was just a 4-banger. But like even when I was going through the Rockies, like got little gust of wind, boom, 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 boom. Like I can't imagine going that fast.
Yeah. So basically, a year ago he had a Porsche 911 Turbo S. And he wanted me to do some video for it, but I never found the time to. And he ended up getting rid of that and got this Wrangler. So I was like, hey, listen, I want to go and shoot a spec video that I can use to maybe, land some dealership contracts or something like that. And he was like, yeah, whenever you want, just come pick it up. And me and my crew put together, it took a little bit to kind of rent the car rig and, figure out how, shot list, everything like that. And he gave it to us. We did the pavement road car-to-car shots, and then we did a family friend has a farm out in Romulus or something like that, and we had a 1x1 acre of land, and we completely tilled this whole acre of land, and I mean like. It was grass before, and at the end, it was like you step into it and you go down to your knee in mud.
It's the part of the commercial where the guitar riffs come in and it's like, dun-na, na-na, na, and the Jeep's just slow-mo, like mud coming over the top.
It was intense, and like at the end of the shoot, I think we definitely overdid it. And I'll show you. I showed John the shot of it, but I don't plan on showing my neighbor that because it was just bad. I was having a panic attack at the end of the shoot because I'm like, I can't even use these shots you can't even tell what kind of car this is
because it was just so caked in mud. Like,
just
just things that like we shoot all the time, but just things that like you don't account for. Like, oh, we literally are going to need a power washer for this because the car is just caked.
Yeah, it was a learning experience, and it was scary because I gave it back to I gave it back to him with the engine light on, and we were just tilling this thing for hours. And credit to Jeep because that thing will not stop. We were dragging it in the frame, like through the frame in just mud.
Those are those 1-ton axles, baby.
And clay. And it just, dude, I was under that thing for 3 hours after that shoot until 1 o'clock in the morning. I took a winter jacket and I laid in the car wash and I was under there pulling out footballs of clay.
Holy smoke.
I swear to God, I've never seen a car so fucked up.
Who was driving it?
My dad.
That's awesome.
My dad's a good driver. I trust my dad driving it. So I was just like, hey, I need somebody to drive and drift and, take direction.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
He did pretty good. He got on it.
That's really sweet.
It was scary.
Awesome.
It was cool. The video turned out pretty good. We had rain delays, so I wasn't able to set up as early as I wanted to.
Yeah, I remember.
So I didn't get like interior shots I wanted. I didn't get, a few different things, but I was pretty happy with it. It looked pretty good.
Yeah, it did look pretty good.
It didn't look as good as your guys' vintage Porsche ad. That was beautiful.
Have you seen that?
That was beautiful. I saw the stills that you posted, and it looked gorgeous.
We'll show you the rough of it. We still got to go. We're in a waiting period because we need to go get more audio of the car itself.
Oh, I didn't get any audio, which sucked.
I know. We didn't really record any actual audio that we want to use that day, so we're waiting right now because we can't take it out on salted roads because that car is fucking mint. So we have to wait till it gets nice out and then go do some
that was
more,
one of your guests' car, right?
Yeah, he was on here.
Okay,
Steve's
I listened to that too. He was cool. Yeah,
he's actually tonight. Me and Trey are leaving at like 11-ish, hopefully. No later. Headed? Petoskey.
Oh, sweet.
Like Atlanta, Michigan, Petoskey area.
Oh, for a drift thing?
Snow drift.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's going to be sick.
One of my buddies has a cabin on 9 Mile Point, which is like right in the Petoskey Bay. And there's all this snow coming in tonight, so we're a little nervous. But my buddy Steve, we're taking up his Macan like SUV Porsche, which the other night we were out drifting and that thing will not slide out. Like all you got to do is press on the gas a little bit. If you're like coming around a corner too fast, or the car might be like, you're like, oh, I'm gonna spin out, it's dangerous, we're in like a foot of snow, you just tap on the gas and the all-wheel drive system like recalibrates and you just like shoot forward like a fucking crab.
That's awesome.
It's insane. So,
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
I just got back up. We were just in the UP for like we were up there for a shoot with a tire company at some winter testing facility. That was pretty sweet. Got to see some of those new, what is it, Bronco Raptor?
Dude, yeah, I saw those.
We didn't shoot it, but I saw it, and it was a beast.
How did you get in with all these agencies?
So, I met, let me think, my aunt, my tia Michaela, my Aunt Mickey, actually, she went to CCS.
Are you Italian?
I'm Mexican.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm half Mexican.
That just shows how much I know.
Are you Italian?
That sounds Italian.
Italian.
Oh my God.
Great.
Okay. Cornbread motherfucker.
Whoops. Whoopsies.
I love it. That's great. So
don't call me the Camera.Cowboy for nothing, dog.
He is the camera. I'm actually gonna have you sign a holster for me so I can put it in the studio.
Oh, dude, I'm down.
Put a revolver in it.
Fuck yeah.
So my Aunt Mickey actually introduced me to Danny, who's the DP for Free Age, and he was they were my first connection to like the agency stuff, and then throughout the years I've just kind of met a few different people that have a lot of connections and people that are doing a lot of agency work, and it's been really, really eye-opening. One of the guys that I met, and I don't want to mention his name only because
that's fine.
He's been really generous in including me in some conversations that are way out of my league. Mm-hmm. Like just simply, I don't even know how to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this guy actually, they have a business model that is, I 100% believe that it's going to change the way that production, certain types of production companies work and operate, because they're doing I'm trying to figure out how to word this without giving away any information that I shouldn't.
And you don't have to do that. You can honestly just
I want to tell you guys because this shit's crazy. They're basically restructuring a certain type of like education format of video production, right? And they're going after, $500,000 contracts with really, really large companies like, what else? Air Force. We just got done doing some stuff for the NFL. I'm pretty sure I can mention that.
When you say restructuring, are you saying like how the companies understand how it's going to impact their business?
I would say more so how it's sold to the company as to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like reforming the pitch deck.
Dude, you can only shoot video certain types of ways.
Yeah.
But you can model a business to do anything.
Yeah.
And the way that they're structuring original content is really, really going to change the game because you're gonna
have to tell us eventually.
I'll tell you as soon.
I'll
tell you as soon as we're done. As soon as we're done recording, because it's so simple, but to me it just like, you know what I mean. It was one of we were doing these NFL interviews in Dallas, and basically we're creating these videos to help these guys transition from being professional players to normal human beings walking around the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you're in NFL, and I don't know shit about the NFL or most professional sports, but when you're a pro athlete, your schedule is all determined for you. You're making big bucks and everything is laid out for you, right? Meals, daily timelines, travel. Everything is there,
and then when it's gone,
it's gone.
And these down onto the
these
street.
guys in the league, I don't know, in the league, when you're done, you arrive at practice and your shit's put in the black trash bag.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And that's it.
A crazy thing too is,
granted, you got a couple mils hopefully stacked up in the bank. But
77, I forget what the statistic is, but somewhere around 70% of NFL players are bankrupt within 2 years of leaving the league.
Dude, it was like when we were in Miami and we were at Michael Beasley's house and that place was falling apart. And he's like that professional basketball player. Mm-hmm. He had like 9 ATVs. None of them worked. All of them were crapped out.
But 1-star Airbnb rating.
Yeah, but like, the weirdest thing about the whole entire professional sports things is like back in the day, these, and I totally could be wrong. This is just something I was listening to on another podcast. They were talking about athletes were in their mid-20s and like a little bit older, depending wherever they were getting like big. Now we have athletes that are like 6'9" monsters who are like 22 years old and they've never had anything their whole life. They were just super good at sports.
Definitely not me.
Well, the thing is it's crazy because they're just like, you hear about an athlete who got like caught drunk driving or something. It's like, yeah, dude, you gave a 22-year-old like $16 million. Like he doesn't know what he's doing. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily the best model to do that.
But you got to make those mistakes though. Like I feel like when I first started making good money with the wedding business, we had our first like $15K weekend, and I was like, shit, I'm going to buy clothes and whatever. You know? But now I like obviously regret all that.
Yeah.
Because now I want to save for, different business ventures I want to try, different, I want to try a product, but I want to try to sell products. I don't know what kind of products, but what else? I want to do some investment properties. Obviously that's a way to
diversify your funds.
Right. I don't have a corporate like 401k or anything like that. So I have to think of like how I'm going to retire if I choose to.
NFTs is Trey's way.
I wouldn't say that's my way of retiring.
That should be your way of retiring because your Photoshop skills are immaculate.
They're insane.
I'm trying to put a down payment on a house in crypto is what my goal with all that.
You're gonna do
frickin' metaverse.
I 100%. We'll mark it on the podcast right now. He will do it.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, I feel like you could now. You were just a little busy.
I mean, yeah, but I want to. It would not so much put a down payment, but fully pay off a house in crypto would be tight.
Well, yeah, you can still do that too. I believe
not right now. I'm not that bread.
Well, no, not now.
But you got to buy the house in NFT. So for the rest of history and the sales of that house, you make 2%.
Or like, the house comes with a fuck. This is stupid.
Trey's like, people are gonna make fun of me for this, but no, dude.
No, honestly, like I'm so like I've been so consumed in the NFT shit. It's so bad for my mental health that like just trying to wrap my head around all of this because I have seen,
it's
like,
important to put in your hours. You know?
Yeah,
it's borderline wasting time, but borderline almost justifiable.
It's like the gold rush, baby. You're like trying to get in there when it's hot.
Well, at least our thoughts are in the right place, right?
But I mean,
because 14-year-old me was just like thinking about how to spend the money before I even made it.
That is so mind-boggling to me that at the age of 14 you were already cultivating like business skills, because I was like 16, maybe 17, where I was like, I don't want a job.
I mean, you're younger than us, but you've been doing video for way longer. Like I'm on,
I'm on
8 years
now. 8 years now.
I'm on year 6 or 7.
I'm on year like 5, maybe.
But I completely hear just real quick what you're saying with like the residual income with like investing in properties and stuff. I'm completely in that same boat. Just
I would be scared if I had everything in one place. You know,
totally.
It's vulnerable.
Yeah.
So.
My brother-in-law is super into all that stuff. It's like if it's not gold or silver or like buying stocks in Salvador Dali paintings or like trying, like when we were in Italy, he was walking around to all these I'm sorry, not Italy, London, and he was walking around to all these different all these different markets, and he was like explaining to me that he was looking for wooden boxes with key locks, because like in the antique trading world right now, at the time, like that was the hottest item. So he's like, if you can go into these antique shops and find like certain sizes and like different types of wood and different types of keys, he's like looking around and he found one and he was like, oh yeah, this one's gonna go for this.
That's sick.
And I'm just like, who the hell is telling you all this stuff, dude? He's just like, like how much internet time, like what is the secret internet database where you're finding all this information?
But that's what's amazing though, is that we kind of popped up in the perfect time of internet, right? Like where you can find that little niche of a wood box with a key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that you have an advantage for sure being 23, and then because like when you said you were doing stuff for Instagram when you were 13, I didn't get an Instagram until I had already graduated high school.
Really?
Yeah. So like 2011 is when I graduated high school. So like Instagram kind of wasn't even really that big of a thing yet.
Okay.
I mean, it was, but it wasn't. Like it wasn't a daily life.
Okay.
Which to now, like everybody, even if you're not a content creator, Instagram's there. Like my mom has a fucking Instagram and a TikTok.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's very interesting because like it's really opened the doors to much more than just a daily post.
Oh yeah.
You know, and people are finally realizing that.
Oh yeah.
There's another app that's kind of coming out right now that everybody's talking about instead of Instagram. Jack Viereg put it in my ear the other day when he was talking about it. And I was like, I'm not downloading another app.
Well, I haven't even been using Instagram, so.
Oh, yeah. Dude, what? Should we talk about that?
Yeah,
what
go ahead,
happened?
go ahead.
Okay, so lately for the listeners, I've posted a few things about it, just about people's Instagrams getting hacked. And I know that if you have an Instagram, you've probably seen a lot of other people that have like gone through the turmoil of, I was hacked or this or that. And
I've seen the extent of people getting like deep faked hacked to where it's like they post a video and it's like them like, oh, like invest $5,000. That
yeah, okay.
But like weird shit to where it's like, this is not me. I did not say this stuff.
I did not make
but
this video.
It looks so like
holy
so real.
Shit. That is scary.
Really this is how it happened to me. So I was
okay. Before you tell the story of how it happened, your Instagram was like for content creators. That's basically like our resume.
Oh, 100%. I had GoPro had posted some of my photos and tagged me. You know, a bunch of other smaller companies, and
it had so much credibility to us as like videographers or like business owners.
Absolutely.
Which is fucked, but yeah.
Yeah. Which kind of made me realize the crutch that maybe I shouldn't have been leaning on, though.
Yeah, totally. It's probably like very introspective to be like, how can we once again diversify?
Right, because now I'm locked out and I can't even log in or reset. I can't even delete the account, so it stops messaging all my followers.
Yeah,
because I've had at least 150 of my followers or clients or people emailing me, texting me, even friends of friends, people that I don't even know. You know, like it's just kind of it sucks. It sucks more so for the people that got hacked from my account. You know,
because it's a chain reaction. Go into that, how that works.
So my family goes to Disney World every year, and I don't normally go, but we were there, and I'm standing in line for something, and I got a message from a camera company that I had been camera rigging. I forgot what they were called, but I had been messaging with them in the past, and they were like, "Hey, I need some help resetting my account." And at first, I had that instinct of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I gave them the benefit of the doubt, and
they took advantage of you is what it is, because they reached out from you from like a company that they could see your previous DMs.
Right.
They could do research and be like, oh, this guy, we can try to
Right.
dupe him.
So basically, they just said, all we need is your phone number, and Instagram will send you a link for me to reset. Send me the link, and that's it. Sent them a link, and as soon as I went back in my Instagram, I remember I clicked the app, and it it opened up my timeline, and then said, you have been logged out. And then closed my Instagram. And at that moment, I was like, yep, I know what that was.
Jesus Christ. Fuck. And you had like 4,000 or 5,000 followers or something like that.
No, I
right?
think I had like 3 or something like that. But still, it was just like, it just sucked. It just sucks.
I mean, it's different for our sake because, like you said, it is more so like a resume, or like we treat Instagram like it's our brand and like our like promotion and stuff, as opposed to someone that's just like taking selfies.
I sucked at posting on Instagram anyways.
It's not the easiest or the best.
Yeah, I'm very inconsistent with that. I feel like especially for the business, I need to really be posting a lot of stuff all the time, but I don't.
We're the worst with the drop Instagram.
Dude, the drop Instagram, yeah, it's difficult.
But yeah, so don't let your Instagram get hacked. Don't help anybody.
Yeah, and it's crazy too, because I've gotten a few messages, the exact same thing. Hey, can you help me out? And one of them was from you. And I was like, that's when I called you, and I was like, yo, dude, is your Instagram hacked? And you're like, don't fuck, dude. It's been going like this week has been hell because of it. Like everybody contacting you and saying the same shit, and you're just like, yep.
It went on for a month.
Yeah.
Like a solid month.
And then I even like reached back to the dude, and he'd be like, hey, are you there? Can you help me? And I was like, fuck you. Like, you're not Noah. Fuck you, hacker, you piece of shit. Like, get a life.
Some of my friends were trying to get him to give me my account back, and he said he would do it with Google gift cards.
Oh my God. What a piece of shit. You said you tracked the IP and everything, right?
Yeah, so a friend of mine actually sent him a link that he clicked on, and it traced back to an address in Iowa. So I should buy a flight to Iowa.
Yeah.
Just show up at his door.
And the only thing I'm packing is a Louisville Slugger.
Yeah, like, hey, do you recognize my fucking face?
You just like open his door. It's like all these screens. Like,
well, the scary thing is he could be using like a VPN, so he could just be in Russia with like an Iowa IP.
So it traced back, and there was like 2 layers of VPN back to Iowa.
Oh, so you broke through those?
I didn't, but a friend did.
I thought that was the whole entire point of a VPN. Is that you
I thought so too. I use VPN.
Yeah, it's not going to keep you safe now. If your friend could do it, then the government can definitely do it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But yeah, so that was a recent event that sucked.
Yeah, that sucks so much. Are you making a new Instagram or?
I'm thinking about it.
It's
probably been refreshing.
Yeah, it's probably been so nice.
Yeah, I haven't really been on it, but I've been emailing Instagram a shit ton, and nothing has happened. So
they have to.
They're probably so flooded. There's probably many people getting hacked.
I don't know who else to reach out. Should I find like a Meta support thing, or I just need to find a phone number to talk to a human?
They're not going to do it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I can get on the phone with somebody, I can talk to somebody.
Yeah,
and I can get it done.
Yeah,
but
they know that too. That's why they make it impossible to do.
Yeah. Even their phone number, you call them, and it just refers you to the website.
Jeez. It's the same thing with like Uber or like Lyft or something like that. Like,
it's so hard to find the Amazon phone number. I've been having to get it recently, but like you have to do like some back little digging to find.
Dude, even the Genius
stuff,
Bar. Like I have the Apple Genius Bar from Briarwood Mall saved in my phone because like I know that I can call that number. And like, every once in a while people will be like, how did you get this number? I'm like, don't worry about it. Like this is what I need done. Like their support is not helping me. And they're like, fuck, okay, come in.
Side note, I've been using Amazon as like rentals.
Oh, dude, for props and stuff, buy and return.
I've been just like, now that you can take it to Macy's, I'm just like, unbox it, take it back, done.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, we did this. We actually so the largest project that my team is taking care of. We did this 1 hour live streaming event in DC, $20,000 project. Mm-hmm. obviously, I'm not taking home all of that.
Yeah, the live streams get expensive.
I partnered with a friend of mine on that, so I just had a percentage of that, but it was just really eye-opening to see that my team was able to provide that much value, because I directed and produced it, so I took care of everything, and it was just really, like after that moment when we cut and we were no longer on air, I was just like, holy shit, we have what we need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we have the skills we need to do this.
Yeah.
Even though we were there for a friend of mine, we took care of everything. So it was just like, we can actually provide this value. But I took a bunch of stuff from Amazon, and then like as soon as we got back, like these
full cameras and stuff,
150-foot fiber optic HDMIs like switcher, or, a switcher monitor, and just like a bunch of different random things that I didn't even, I had never even live streamed before, and I'm just like,
and then it goes right back.
And it was,
the budget.
I had a week and a half of notice, and I was
for a live stream?
Yes.
Jesus.
And I was just like, but he called me and he's like, I got this opportunity, and I was like, yes, I can do it.
Yeah,
I can do it.
And did you know you could do it, or were you just kind of like, I think I can?
I didn't know.
Yeah, dude.
I had no clue.
Start hopping on the Google how-to live stream.
Yeah, just YouTube. I've built a career off YouTube because
YouTube University, baby.
Yeah, literally. It's so weird.
Did you go to school as well, film school?
So I did go to Specs Howard for a year, and that was a complete and utter waste of time. I didn't learn it. I actually didn't learn a thing. Like I would be honest if I had learned something, or I had made a connection of some type.
Yeah.
But it was a waste of time. It was a real waste of time.
That's how I feel about my degree right now.
What do you have? What degree you have?
Tech management and project management.
Okay. So you still went through the WCC program, which I think is valuable.
The WCC
I've heard
is
great things about
valuable thing that I've ever done.
And the fact that Garrett is a part of that gives it credibility, because he's amazing, and he knows he's actually in the industry, and the people at Specs, and not to down talk Spec Howard, because he's built a legacy for sure within the radio space and things like that. But, it was very obvious that they had just branched off into this as a part of their business model. You know what I mean? When I got there, they had just purchased the 80D DSLRs, and we're talking 2018.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They had
a little late.
been getting rid of their like big Panasonic shoulder camcorders. Mm-hmm. And it was just disappointing, to be honest, because I had already been making a living in the industry as far as my business, but it was disappointing to see all the other people that were there that were expecting value that I knew that they weren't going to get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
I knew that you know what I mean? And there were people that, obviously had aspirations of making a living in this industry that unfortunately probably won't get the opportunity to, because of the choice of going to Specs rather than WCC.
And getting that bad taste in your mouth can like ruin a whole career, in the sense.
Yeah.
Like if you're like, oh man, fuck this, I'm not gonna shoot on these, or why does my picture look like this, or whatever.
Right. So,
but like same sort of thing here at WCC. I'm teaching in that program now, the intro class there.
Oh, awesome. What are you teaching?
It's Vid 105, so like the intro to video class. So I'm teaching all the kids how to operate Premiere and get their hands on a camera and set up tripods and all that fun stuff.
That's awesome.
But it's the same sort of thing there. I mean, it's really hard for them to like make any decisions to like buy gear and stuff. I mean, they've been talking about getting a bunch of Black Magics for like 3 years now.
Mm-hmm. That's
but
hilarious.
I'm teaching them like on the T7Is, I think. So it's like, I mean, it's the intro class or whatever.
I mean, those will do.
Yeah,
those will do for sure.
When I first got into the program, I remember talking to Garrett and then him telling me like, yeah, T6i is a great camera, you're doing like, this is perfect, John. Mm-hmm. And then like, now that I look back, I'm just like, Garrett, why the fuck did you tell me that? Like, you could have just waited or done this or that,
Honestly, if I was starting from scratch now, I would just use my iPhone.
Yeah,
100%.
It's crazy.
I would build a small company around the iPhone.
I mean, Cole Bennett's doing the iPhone stuff now, but that's like all just because he has so much clout behind him.
He signed a deal with Apple for sure.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would think
that makes sense.
That's sweet.
I mean, that's money for sure.
That's cool. We did some small stuff for Apple for like training videos or whatever. It was pretty cool. Just being in the Apple aesthetic of the store was cool.
In California videos. Or
no, just at Briarwood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
At Briarwood. A buddy of mine is a genius there, or was a genius there.
Who is it?
My buddy Steve.
Steve. I don't know Steve.
No.
I know like so many people at the Apple Store.
So many geniuses.
So many.
Yeah. Actually, one of my like best friends growing up, Kyle Billmeyer. Shout out to Kyle. He's literally like specced out drops, like everything for a very long time now.
Nice.
He he was a genius and was like running Apple for like 9 years. Like maybe like 2 or 3 steps down maybe like 2 or 3 steps down from the top at that store.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so
just
sick.
that one store.
I'm kidding.
And he just got a job at Rivian. And
that's sick. A buddy of mine, or a photographer friend, Andrew Trahan, actually just did a huge shoot with Rivian at the Eastern Market. Said that the truck is really, really what it's played up to be.
Yeah, it's not like falling apart like a Tesla, or like the plastic is like creaky and everything else.
Right.
Yeah. How are we doing on time?
No, we're good. I'm just checking a text message from Jim just to see what's going on. Yeah, I just got a little bit of editing to do after this for some PBS ice fishing stuff we did that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Ice fishing and ice boating.
Oh, I just filmed some ice boating.
I saw that you were out on
Walled Lake there.
You were out there the day before I was out there.
Oh shit, really? It was probably the same
and
dudes out there.
PBS was doing a little spot on it?
Yeah, so they're doing a spot that's going to premiere on the 23rd, and me and Will went out there and took care of some cool stuff for them.
It sounds cold.
I was just out there.
It was freezing.
Do
you guys have like yak tracks?
What's that?
The little rubber like nets that you can put on the bottom of your shoes.
Will did.
Yeah.
But no, it was sweet. We I love the winter, man. We were just up in the, like I said, in the UP doing the tire shoots, and then the week after that we went up for Ice Fest, which
I was
like
gonna say, were you
ice
up there?
climbing? Yeah, so that's kind of my new thing that I'm gonna endeavor in is ice climbing, and.
Ooh.
And I've been just like obsessing over it because I've been wanting to climb for a while, and because and you guys probably relate to this in a way, like the mountains are calling me, like I got to get out there, you know what I mean? So
Trey, you were the first person to ever explain to me what mountain energy was. I don't think if you remember, but you were telling me, you were like, there's just an energy that you feel when you're like surrounded by mountains, and it's really powerful, and there's nothing else like it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I got, my goal is to go and summit Denali in Alaska. So I have to, in order to do that, I have to be like tip-top condition, nutrition, and endurance. So I've been just doing anything endurance. We did, Will dragged me along for the 100-mile Watermoo race this past summer, and then I've done a couple marathons now for running, a couple half marathons, and some training. I don't really like running as much. It's really,
I hate running.
Really hard on the knees and hips, but
especially as a road biker, we're like, why would we do this when we can just bike and have way more low impact?
Right. So my plan is to just keep with running, biking, and ice climbing, and then.
Do you climb at Planet Rock at all?
I've been to Planet Rock a couple times. Pretty fun. I'm not sure I'm huge on like the actual hands of you. I think I'm going to be a lot more comfortable using tools. Yeah. But no, we should for sure go climb.
Yeah. No, me and my buddy Andreas are up there
climbing
all the time.
I think I met Andreas.
Yeah, maybe.
Is he in the industry?
Yeah, he's in the industry.
I might have.
He's the dude who does like the FPV stuff.
Yes, I've seen some of his work. He's pretty killer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's getting there. He's going to be like, he's slowly taking over FPV in the area. It's pretty nuts.
That's sick.
Have you ever tried FPV? It's fucking insane.
I haven't tried flying. I do a decent amount of flying for some Jeep stuff and some just Facebook stuff, and it's pretty cool. But I know FPV is a whole different concept of flying.
If you ever get the chance to like hop on like one of the simulators.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Those, I mean, that's like the closest I've only done that because I'm not anywhere near to get my hands on a real one, but like it's insane. Like it gives me a whole different appreciation for like what you see online and like what Andreas is doing and stuff.
Yeah,
like
it's a whole different concept of like movement, isn't it?
I mean, when you're not touching it, you're falling out of the sky. Like all motors are off,
Yeah, you gotta keep that perfect
you're
feather.
Always like. Damn. And you like
I gotta try it.
You grip the controller like this, and you're just like, it's so.
Yeah,
weird.
we've been on set with some really cool. Brandon with Wanderlust Imagery, he does some really great.
I was gonna
stuff.
say, yep.
Yeah, he does some really awesome stuff.
He's up in Marquette.
Yeah, he's all the way up there. I would love to live up there.
I did a year up at Northern Michigan University.
Oh, no way.
Marquette, and it's a blast up there. It's
awesome.
own little bubble.
My plan is next winter. I'm about to buy a truck for the company, so I want to kind of turn it into like an overland type thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I want to go up there for a little bit in the winter and just do some solo like ice climbing and just...
That's what I built my 4Runner out.
Dude, let's go up there. Let's go.
Overlanding, or like has the whole back compartment and stuff with like the sleeping and
That's
all that.
That's sick. So. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, it's.
I forgot you have a 4Runner. I love the 4Runners, dude.
Yeah, it's the old 3rd gen.
I kind of wish I didn't have so much video equipment, so I could just have a car.
Don't you have a Tacoma?
No, I have a Ford Fusion.
Will
now.
has the Tacoma.
Yeah, Will's got a Tacoma. Yeah, Will's got a Taco. Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. I can't spend my money on anything besides film shit. It's like I feel wrong like buying anything else.
I've actually
this isn't an investment.
Since I got the Komodo, I haven't really been spending anything though, which has been nice. Mm-hmm. I've been just like saving a lot of money and just.
And you're pretty gung ho with that Komodo. Like I've seen you riding your road bike. With like holding the Ronin behind you.
That thing's already all chipped up and like the paint's already coming off the top and the bottom.
Did you get a white one?
Yeah. I got on the wait list and I got the honor of paying Jared another $1,000 for a color. But no, the only reason I got the white is just because I figure if I want to get rid of it, it'll resell better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know,
for sure.
Got to hit it with a magic eraser pretty hard.
But now that it's all beat to hell, I don't think it's going to resell as easy.
Whatever,
dude.
We got to get our hands on a Komodo. The wait times are still just freaking like 4 to 6 weeks.
Honestly, if Garrett's hooking you guys up with rentals, I mean, there's not. I've been making a few bucks off rentals, but I don't use it too often, to be honest. Like. Mm-hmm. Like I only use it for those projects that I need to second shoot with Free Age's Alexa Mini.
Yeah.
You know,
you're not shooting your weddings on the Komodo, obviously.
Hell no. The nicer wedding, I mean, some of the nicer venues and stuff. If I want something that's gonna go into our portfolio or something like that, I'll do it. But it doesn't make sense workflow wise, you know. Yeah. And our couples are not gonna know the difference between 4K on a 1DX and 6K down res from a Komodo, you know.
Why we're not shooting the podcast on B-Raw Blackmagic at the 1:1 codec.
Right. Nope. Right. But no, the Komodo's been great. It's been a good learning curve for me because obviously I come from stills cameras, DSLRs and stuff. So it's been a great learning curve color wise, and I'm still not as good in color as I need to be and things like that. Working with the codecs, working with different things like that. I'm not very...
Do you solely edit in Premiere or do you use DaVinci?
We use Resolve.
Okay.
Yeah, we switched from Final Cut about 1.5 years ago, almost 2 years ago, I want to say. Mm-hmm. And it's been a good transition only because Resolve has a great interface. It's very simple to use. It has really, really good color tools. It has really good, compatibility with all cameras. It handles the 6K raw it's free, it's nothing. Like it's nothing, and it's free.
Yeah,
it's free. I still pay for Premiere.
Version. Yeah, I was gonna say the studio version is not free.
Right.
I think the only limitations. I think you don't get the FX, like the special effects or like the effects,
okay.
And then I think you're capped at a 1080 export. I don't think you can export in 4K.
Oh, no way.
Really?
But with the Blackmagic, you get the studio license for free.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you guys have that, right?
Yeah.
Sweet.
But we're still turning and burning through Premiere. Yeah. I know DaVinci, but like I'm just so fast in Premiere and like all the projects that we've been doing recently.
And that's industry standard still.
Yeah. And it's nice to just have like everything else, like, your Lightroom, your Photoshop, your AE, all that.
Yeah, I still pay for all that and just, expense it, of course, but I don't really use Premiere too much. Yeah. I do. I mean, like I'm okay in it. I can operate it and I can get things done in it, but obviously I'm more efficient in Resolve and stuff like that. But I honestly haven't been doing too much editing, which has been really nice. Most of my day to day is emailing, sending out quotes, phone calls with clients, shooting, prepping for shoots, putting together equipment lists for our teams because we have the capability of doing 3 weddings in a day. 2 photo and video and 1 video. So, just kind of like...
And that's because you guys diversify your team, right?
Yeah, it's because I found, some really reliable people to represent us and things like that. And I've kind of, built a template out of it. So if we have, we have the capability of doing a decent amount of work. Mm-hmm. So now my goal is just like, all right, I got to keep these people busy.
Yeah, we have that a lot with like live events and other things like that. Like it's nice when I know that I can just hire out and not have to like be boots on the ground. But
hiring out is scary though, because I
was just gonna say that.
Yeah, I've had my experiences with people trying to burn me and like
build relationships with the client or like undercut certain ways.
Yeah.
There was one guy that we heard through the grapevine was doing that, and it made me feel kind of like, what? I thought you were cool, dog. What the hell? And I don't even some people, I don't even think they're realizing when they do it.
Right.
But like it's because they're not in the industry that they're like, it's like, hey, dude, you're fucking with my bread and butter. Don't do that.
Right. No, I had this one guy that came. He does a lot of music video stuff, and he does pretty good work. But he came and did a wedding with us, and I was leading photo, and Will was leading video, and he was second shooting. And at the end of the night, we were getting ready to do the reception, and Will told me that he was in the parking lot and saw this guy hitting a wax pen. And I mean, like, I'm not against, wax pens, anything like that, but we're doing a job here.
Don't do that.
We're working, no alcohol at events, no weed, no, you know what I mean? Like, just keep it professional. You signed a contract with me saying that you're not going to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, and that's all in your contracts, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, man, what a dummy.
Absolutely.
He knew it.
And at the end of the night, and what was funny is at the end of the night, he came up to me, and I didn't say anything, I want to get the job done and stuff. And at the end of the night, he was like, so you have cash to pay me, right? And I'm like, what? I laughed.
He didn't read the contract.
I thought he was joking because, like, I've never met anybody in this industry that pays cash at the end of a shoot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
If you're lucky, yeah.
He's like, yeah, so you have cash for me, right? And I'm like, what? I'm like, so I actually, I'll send you a check and stuff like that. And he's like, all right, you can get this footage when I get paid. And I'm like, what? And that was when I didn't realize, like, he was shooting on his cards. And then, so, like, this is just little lessons that you go through that you really
this person sounds like an asshole.
Yeah. He
didn't get the call back, I'm assuming.
Oh, no. So I went, had coffee with him, dumped the cards, and I said, technically you voided our contract, so I don't have to pay you for this, but I'm just going to, give you the benefit of the doubt, and this is the last time we'll be working together.
You said that to him and everything?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
Absolutely.
There was, oh my God, it was right on the tip of my tongue, and now it's gone. I hate it when that happens.
So you live and you learn in this industry, especially trying to manage things, It's been a real learning curve, and it's been the most enjoyable part of this has been learning how to operate. That's obviously the camera has been like a hobby of mine since I was young, but like really operating has been my passion lately, is just kind of learning how to sell, how to market, how to make better margins, I guess, doing less work for the same amount.
Yeah, working smarter.
Things like that,
It's something that we got to kind of streamline, is just like the pre-production phases and how to really like nail that down, so we're not just wasting countless hours in that phase. Because I feel like pre-production and like the first initial like attack on a project is always like the most like.
Well, a lot of clients I feel like a lot of people just waste our time,
or just don't know what they want, and then you're stuck there having Zoom meetings and like finding out their brand guidelines and actually like what type of ad they want and all that stuff.
Some people just have no idea. They're like, oh, video content. And it's like, yeah, cool, but there's a whole entire way that we're going to have to build this ad. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like,
if you don't so much behind it.
If you don't even have a mission statement, and these are like some super large companies too, and we're just like, what is going on back there? Like, are you guys struggling? Is this why you guys need all this video content? Because you guys are struggling? But to side note, back to I had another horror story real quick. When we were ghost producing this other video for like this A-list, and they needed fire dancers and like fire breathers and like a pyro team and stuff like that. And I had, like me and Trey used to go to festivals. Like I used to be involved in like that wook hippie community. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, this is going to be the easiest thing ever to find all those people. There was this guy that I knew who we actually had met and talked to a couple times backstage at like the Magic Stick and other places like that. And he like runs sound, and he's like a really, what I thought, a cool guy. And like he's like kind of has like a local DJ thing startup. And I was like, yo, what's up, man? I need like 3 or 4 fire dancers. Like, is there anybody that you can refer me to? And he was like, oh yeah, let me get back to you. So then I hit him up like a couple days later. He's like, yeah, I'm almost done curating a team. And I was like, yo, like, whoa, like, I don't need you to do that. I just was hoping that you could like give me some recs, because I know that you've dealt with these people because you've thrown on your own events and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, that's not how this works. Like, I don't want to pass out my contacts without getting permission from them first. And I was like, okay, well, cool. Get permission from them and then give me their number. And then, you know, like, obviously he's not going to ask them that. And then he came at me with like, he was like, hey, so I have the whole entire team together, blah, 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 blah. It's going to cost this much. And I was like, dude, you're not a fucking agency. Like, you're a kid who runs a sound at a booth, and like, you're a DJ, and like, you do drugs. Like, give me, I'm like looking for some other people for this. And then I was just like, all right, cool. Thanks, man. Like, that's not how this works. Like, I was hoping that you could just help me out. Like, if you asked me, hey, John, do you know any fire dancers? I'd be like, yeah, let me ask him. I'll pass you their number. Right, you know what I mean? And he was trying to make a buck.
But
and I was like,
that's how you've built your network, and he hasn't, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but I don't think he knew even really what he was doing. I think this is kind of one of those opportunities where he was like, oh, Drop's reaching out to me. Like, I'll be able to make a buck off of this. And I'm just like,
right.
No.
That makes sense. I'm trying to think of like how that kind of like pushes you towards a different direction.
What do you mean?
In a learning sense, right? Like, as far as knowing when somebody is like, I mean, if you would have kept working with him, you would have had more headaches and you would have success.
Oh,
you know?
Totally. I mean, I've never worked with him before. This is just a guy that I knew in the scene.
Okay.
So, and he's not even like professionally like a booking agent or this or that.
Mm-hmm.
He was just a guy that I knew who
like
hangs out at the bars where all the hippies spin fire.
But it's good to even have those guys.
Yeah.
Even if they don't end up helping.
I mean, this guy knows everyone and their mom.
I know he does. I know he does.
Yeah, but I was surprised. I was like, why can't I find these people? You know what I mean?
So, I mean, like, it's good to even have those bad seeds, because those are the ones that make you recognize the good ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
It's valid.
You know?
It's true.
It's part of the learning curve. And there's even, like, what am I trying to get at? It's like, it's just a crucial part of what we're doing, right? And it helps us build a stronger knit community around us, because those people around us are the ones that teach us who we become, right? Like, like I'm thinking of like my back end my back end operations, as far as like getting signed contracts, bookings, things like that. I would still be doing paper contracts if it weren't for Evis at VC Productions. He showed me a software platform that I've completely automated everything.
Like, what platform is that?
It's called Tave. So it's really cheap. I think I pay like $500 every 3 years or something like that. I pay more. I pay like all the softwares like chunks like 3 or 4 years in advance, so I save money on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he showed me Tave, and it's very, very like hard to set up. But once it's set up, everything's automated, as far as like from a contact form on my website. When somebody puts in their information, it splits it up into different pieces of back-end information: event date, event type, you know, what kind of coverage they need, whether it's just photo, video, both, or, you know, bar mitzvah coverage, you know what I mean? So like things like that I would have never known if it weren't for, you know, random connections, people that just showed me this thing.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like,
we dove into hot budgets a little bit, which was like,
what's that?
It's supposedly like industry standard, like budgeting, like just like P&L statement type of stuff. And it was like not it. Like,
no?
when I dove into it, I was
maybe
like,
you guys should check out Tave then.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to.
Yeah, I can show you guys around the software. It's supposed to be a wedding brand. It's wedding oriented, but it's so customizable that I've been able to use it for anything.
Yeah.
You know,
that's dope.
Nice.
It's mostly like a lot of like, you know, wedding DJs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Yeah, I know this girl who she makes like over $200K a year on her own just shooting weddings, and she's like booked up basically.
Photo?
Yeah.
Video. Nice.
Photo from like the beginning to the end of the season. Like, she doesn't have a life, but then she like takes off all the other time, because she's like, yeah, I made like $200,000 in like 5-6 months.
It's so badass.
Yeah, right?
It's amazing.
There's so much money in weddings, but I've just had enough bad tastes in my mouth that I just can't, like, I'll take on some if it's like obviously makes sense, but like I'm not looking for weddings just because the bridezillas and the momzillas I've gotten, like, it's just like the disrespect
I deal with all that now, so it doesn't matter.
But Trey, you're a true creative though.
And I think that's where
it's because you feel like you're settling.
I feel like I'm a creative, but I feel like I get distracted by other things that are in different lanes, right? And so I kind of spread myself. Sometimes I feel like I spread myself a little too even, but it's like it's just who I am. I just need 10 plates in the air at a time, and a couple of them might shatter, but that's okay. That's a part of the success of the other 7.
I'm in the same boat. Like, I operate when I have a million candles burning as opposed to just like 1 or 2.
Right.
But like,
I think that's a good thing though.
It is definitely, but it is like, I've run into this, and I think we brought it up on the podcast again, but like the fact of like, again, like spreading yourself too thin, or like picking, you can only be good at so many things, or so good at so many things. So like picking those couple things that you're like above good in, or above average, you know, like, just because, I don't know, I find myself like, oh man, FPV would be so sweet, but it's like, do I really want to invest all that time to start like devoting into that, or like going into like just all these different forms of creativity? It's like, you got to kind of pick a couple and really stick with those.
Right.
I mean, you don't have to, whatever you want to do.
I can't remember. Did you say you had to be somewhere at 11 or at noon?
Noon.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, like, for me, it's kind of the same way, where it's weird because when I was younger, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, or like never really figured it out all the way up until like I started getting into the video stuff. And now that I'm into the video stuff, I kind of realized that it might not even necessarily be 100% video. It's kind of like the whole entire like management and entrepreneurial aspect of just like being able to know a product, flip it, and sell it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Which is cool because, I mean, that's what we do and we love doing it. But like, yeah, for you, Trey, it's just like, you don't want to do that. You just like, you're a pure content creator, always pushing the envelope into a totally different realm every time.
I would like to categorize myself a little bit more than a
content creator. Yeah, because that has a bad turn nowadays. As soon as I said that, I was even like, damn it, that's not the right word.
Don't forget to like, subscribe,
and
follow dude. My channel.
Yeah, but it's definitely one of those things where just finding that niche is like super important.
Yeah, it still feels very odd that I found my I knew what I was gonna do very young, and it's been something that I've been very adamant on myself about taking advantage of, because I do have I do recognize that I have a small lead on most other people that are my age. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna try to keep working towards what my ambitions are, towards what I want to go and do, and just do it.
If do you ever see yourself not doing weddings? Like, do you see yourself like what would you do overall if like you had the option to pick?
I don't have, like, honestly, I don't know how you guys feel about goals and stuff like that, but I don't do yearly goal setting or anything like that. I kind of just have an idea of what I want to be doing in 10 years, 20 years. And,
well, it seems to be naturally taking its course.
Right. I think it's because I only have, maybe, like, as far as like life goals in the spectrum of what I want to do before I die, I only have a couple things. You know what I mean? Like, there's only a couple small things.
What are those things?
Oh, man.
Climbing that mountain is one of them.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I think the first thing that I've always visioned accomplishing is doing some very, very impactful work for companies like Nat Geo and like Discovery. It doesn't even have to be everybody in our industry says Nat Geo, but that's the thing that comes to my mind, because when I first learned how to read, the first thing my grandmother put in front of me was those yellow magazines, right? Mm-hmm. And like, I remember seeing the images of like war and things that really made me feel something in humanity, right? Mm-hmm. And I always felt a call, and like, even though I didn't know then that it was going to be the camera itself, like, I knew that there was some reason to capture that, right? Mm-hmm. So like, I think there was this on Planet Earth, they did this thing where this cinematographer was trying to film Siberian tigers in the wild.
Oh yeah.
And he was in this 10-foot by 10-foot shack for 3 months. Mm-hmm. Trying to get shots of these Siberian tigers, and they only come out at night. Yeah. So it was like at night you could hear them and you could do that, but at the daytime they're nowhere to be found. And I'm not going to go out there and look for them.
Yeah.
So when he kind of expressed, when he talked about his experience of living in those quarters for 3 months, something about that felt like that's what I should be doing, right? Like I should be doing something that's seems like such a stupid purpose. Like, why are you gonna go like live in like use the restroom in this shack? You can't even leave this shack for 3 months. But something about that was so appealing that I was like, I need to put myself in a position where I can support a family, but if I get the opportunity to go on assignment for 3 months in the middle of the jungle or not even have contact with humans for 3 months, I need to be able to say yes.
Well, what that is like, I'm gonna get a little weird here. Like, we're all humans and we're all technically animals, and like there's this thing that society has done with us and our brains, and like formulated a way of us understanding like, oh, you wake up, you cook food, you go to work, you come home, you relax with your loved ones, yada yada yada. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily like that in the wild. I mean, like if you think back about how our brains were actually formed with like, just what like early Homo sapiens. Yeah, just life was a completely different thing, and our brains are not meant for that. Like if our brains are a computer with a certain amount of RAM, the program beyond us is expanding so fast that like we don't even know how to adapt fast enough because we don't have enough like brain juice for it. So like, getting back to a state, I think, of where you're like, everything else around me doesn't exist right now because I'm doing the one thing that I know that I'm really good at, and the one thing that I like have a passionate drive for. So you kind of go into like this almost, I don't want to say blackout state, but like you become like hyper focused.
Tunnel vision.
Yeah, hyper focused on something where you're like, I'm going to get these tigers because no one else in the world is going to get these tigers. This is actually the world that I live in, and I can do it, but I just have to be in this shack for 3 months. And then you like, that's a goal right there.
Yeah, yeah. I guess not having too many short-term goals has really put me in that tunnel vision of like, I don't know what I'm going to do to get there, but I'm just going to keep chipping away at it. You know what I mean? And if that requires me to step away from the weddings, then so be it. You know? I don't envision that I'll ever sell off the wedding brand or anything like that, just because it is like I don't see that humans are going to stop getting married. Mm-hmm. So it definitely seems like a pillar type of business that has longevity. So like, even if like my vision is that I'm able to build the wedding company into a sustainable, consistent quality, 70 weddings a year or something like that. And then I'll be able to I really want to find a female that can really connect with my brides as far as like connections with them, as far as like planning their timeline, doing things like that. Because although we're just a photo and video company, we're so indulged in the industry and we've done hundreds of weddings to where we can help so much outside of just photo and video, right? And I've already experienced that through a lot of my brides coming to me for like, how should I plan out my timeline, things like that, right? So like, my vision is that I build the company to where it's 70 weddings a year or something like that, and then I bring in somebody that's going to be able to handle more operations or even just marketing, Instagram posts. You
need to talk to Claire.
Things like, all right, I'll talk to Claire. So like, if I can build a wedding brand to that's going to allow me to have the time to go start working towards that kind of like documentary style work. I envision having, like, if I can make it to where I have the leverage where I don't need to make any money from companies like Nat Geo, Discovery, anything like that, and I can just say, yes, I can do it, and you don't even need to pay. Like, obviously people hate doing like free work and stuff like that. I've really made, I mean, like, it sounds stupid, but I've made a lot of money from free work.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So it's like, it's like if I can just leverage my other brands or other companies or something like that to make my living, and my happy number is like $75,000 a year, and I'd be fine.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
When you break beyond a certain amount, then
it's
things
like,
get stressful.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I know people that make millions of dollars, and like some of my clients have companies that are doing $400 million a year. And it just seems very like overwhelming in a way.
Well, not only that, because then you focus.
400 million definitely seems overwhelming.
Well, what happens is like you stop. This is exactly what I was talking about with like how we are focused. Like we have been conditioned very well to focus on these green like pieces of paper.
Yeah.
And like telling about how they're going to bring happiness. And that's kind of what I was getting at, because even with your wedding stuff and even what you were just saying with like, hey, I would love to just help you. Like there's a thing about being an impactful person and then making an impactful like statement on the world and just being positive. And I really like that, because you even like it's all slowly coming to a circle with how you started by saying with like Nat Geo, you were like things that were very compelling and impactful and needed to be documented, like historical war or like animals and things like that. Like being able to be a part of something that is a bigger picture greater than somebody who's just like, fuck, if I don't do this, then I'm not going to be able to pay off my yacht and then my wife's car payments or like my daughter's college and all this stuff. And it's like, that's great. But then there becomes a time where it's just like, you're going to be in your 60s or 70s and you're like, I didn't travel the world as much as I wanted to. Like I didn't sit on the beach enough. I didn't like do the things that I needed to do because I was focusing on the dollar.
Right. No, absolutely. And think about a number.
Yeah.
Think about a number like 400 million, right? Like, do you know how much energy has to get diverted from your personal life to that?
And do you want the money so you can build a better personal life, or do you want a better personal life that you can support with the money that you have? And I think for me, it's the second one.
You can have a good personal life with a little bit less than 400 million, I would imagine. I would hope.
And people can't even comprehend that number. Most people think that, $1 million is the entry to wealth, right?
Well, it just gets different at that, like.
Yeah, it's a different level.
Well, they say the first million's the hardest, and then you'd have to take that first million and then diversify it, and then it gets even more stressful, because then now you're just managing all these different accounts and diversified bonds and shit.
Right. You're digging in. Now
you're a landlord and you've got like properties that you got to do, and you're like renting out and hiring payroll, this and that. And then usually what happens is that your quality gets fucked and your company goes to shit, but you don't care because you're collecting CEOs and then or you're collecting CEO money, and then you have McDonald's on every corner.
It's been a real learning curve to actually go into the homes of these CEOs though, because getting on a personal level with them is different than reading about Jeff Bezos on a article. You know what I mean? And like, or listening to Elon Musk on a podcast or things like that, right? But like going in these people's homes and having personal interactions with them has really opened my eyes to how they've achieved that, right? And it's been probably the most valuable lesson I've had with this job, is that like I've been able to put myself in rooms with people that are like not necessarily powerful, but have done something humongous within the business world, right? Not that means anything to life itself, right? Because I mean, like you look at the number of millionaires in the world, it's like hundreds of thousands, right? So it's not particularly uncommon.
Yeah.
So it's just been very eye-opening to how I want to live my life and how I want to achieve certain things, to be in those rooms for certain conversations or, negotiations and things like that. It's been just like really, really weird as a 17-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's crazy too, because like, including myself, like I still have a lot of soul searching to do to like figure out like what kind of lifestyle do I want to live? Like what things are holding me back and everything like that. And it's crazy because what it sounds like is you kind of almost figured that out when you were like 14, and then you were like, I can build this business. And
not to bring up anything morbid, but I think the number one thing that really gave me value within, or not value, but the number one thing that gave me perspective on like all of this is loss. I lost my grandmother when I was like 10, and I was raised by my grandparent, like not raised by my grandparents, but partially raised by my grandparents, very, very close with them. And like going through loss at a young age where you don't really even know what life is in general was really like, holy shit, like okay, we're not here forever. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? No. Like, it could be tomorrow that I just don't wake up or some shit, you know? Yeah. Like, so, like, I think that really gave me perspective on, like, what really matters.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, it's just crazy that you can be here one day and then the next day you're just, you know?
Yeah.
And then nothing matters. Then, I mean, obviously, like, I don't give a shit what happens to the company if I'm dead.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it's crazy, too, because it's like I said, you seem to have found, like, this peace almost with not only your work, but, like, you're in a long-term relationship that's really, that's, like, you know, sustainable and going good. Your business is
I'm not in a rush.
Good. Yeah. Like,
most people are in a very, very, like, they want instant gratification. And like, I mean, it's taken me 8 years. And it's so weird because it does not feel like, it just gave me goosebumps because it doesn't feel like it's been 8 years. It feels like I've just been stretching and I'm about to go into the first quarter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Awesome.
It's really weird.
It's
this weird feeling that I just know, you know, like it's been 8 years, but it feels like I'm just like, I just have been like, you know, shown the intro to like how this shit works.
And do you think like, oh, I'm sorry, Trey.
I was just going to say, you have a relatable drive that I don't see in most. And that's
I appreciate
definitely huge.
I appreciate that.
I can see you guys vibing on that level for sure. Cause Trey was also one of the people that helped me like light a fire under my ass and stuff. But do you think like there was something about, did you like put on blinders or was there like this thing that helped you block out the outside world and only be focused on certain things or what?
When you say block out the outside world, it really takes me back to like high school and like middle school.
Yeah.
I did, like I said, I didn't really have you know, a ton of friends. I had a small friend group that I hung out with and stuff, but even them, I never really like, I think I went in high school. I probably partied a handful of times throughout all of high school. You know, like all of my weekends were spent Friday, Saturday, Sunday, weddings, growing the wedding brand, and my weekdays were, you know, spent just like editing and, you know, trying to grow everything outside of it. So, like, blinders have never. It's weird because it feels like they've never not been there.
Yeah,
it feels.
And I wouldn't even call it blinders. Like you could be.
So my mom, like. I was raised by a single mother. Shout out to all the single mothers because my mom is just like amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And
shout
out because like my mom really raised me to not care what other people say about me, what other people say to me, who, you know what I mean? Like things like that she instilled in me that really just kind of like calloused my mind, I guess.
Yeah.
David Goggins has this thing about callousing your mind and it's about just really just being hardened to the world, right? The good and the bad.
Yeah.
And like when you get to a place where like the good and the bad don't really matter, not that they don't matter, but they're not affecting the way that you're navigating, then it's just like I feel like you can really navigate more freely. Is it what I'm trying to say or something?
I think you don't have blinders. I think you like when you say blinders, you're like it's because we're looking forward, and then there's distractions on your left and your right that you're actually trying to blind out. Okay. But if you can go above the looking forward into like a 360 view of understanding everything that's going on around you, that's what I think is kind of where your brain's at.
I think I feel you. Yeah, which is for sure.
Yeah,
it's a very,
especially.
It's almost like therapeutic, to be honest.
I'm like looking for it. That would be nice.
Because like in not to display what my mom has done for me or anything, but she's always questioned how I run my business, right? Which has been, it's difficult at times, but I think it's important to be questioned, right?
Totally.
But what am I trying to get with that? When you're kind of like questioned, it kind of makes you go back to the drawing board, right? And really assess, like, am I doing the right thing? Yeah. Am I making the right decisions at the right times and things like that? But I've always, she raised me to have such confidence in myself and like thinking within reason that it's like, even when she gives me a compliment or a negative of what I'm doing or something like that, they both feel the same. Like like a compliment and
because it's coming from a place of love.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly. So it's like,
but also in the sense of like looking at it like a marble statue. If you're like chiseling away at this marble statue and your mom comes in and she's like, oh, you know what, that's looking like a little questionable, you might want to work on it a little bit more right there. As opposed to if you're like just working on this and then you're like, sweet, it's done, and she didn't like have any input, and you go and like put it in a show,
right?
Versus,
and it's not always my just side note. It's not always my mom. It's
or just not your mom, but just like someone to be there to like question or critique or just like be that like, are you sure person? I feel like is important for
Savannah has been a huge part of supporting me because her and my mom were the people that were sitting in the booth as I was standing out front trying to sell photographic prints.
You guys are high school sweethearts?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We met right before high school, or
holy shit, way before that.
Right before high school, or as high school was starting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm so thankful that I have someone to really confide in when I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, or I don't know how to navigate a certain type of thing. And I feel so bad because when I get fixated on something, it's unhealthy. Sometimes it feels unhealthily obsessive, right?
Yeah.
Like, and she has to hear that. She's the person that has to hear that, no matter what it is: ice climbing, mountaineering, overlanding that I want to do, or rental properties. She gets so irritated when I'm like, oh, listen to this, how you can just avoid, you can save taxes on doing this, and she's just like, I don't give a shit.
She will,
but she listens.
We sound like we have a lot of the same problems.
She listens, and she's there, and she supports me entirely. So it's just amazing to have someone like that.
People always get irritated when they have to hear all that stuff, but then you're like 10 years from now, you're like, yeah, but we have a nice car, we have a house, we've got this, we've got that. So
right.
But yeah, I think it's really crazy because this is actually some stuff that I've been dealing with in my own life, and I know we're going a little over, but I don't think
we're fine.
I don't even think it matters because you got a place to be, so we'll just run it up until whenever.
Yeah, I'm good for a little bit.
But like, one of the things like about being in a relationship with anybody, whether it's a friendship or a romantic partner or whatever, like where you are in that time in your life, like greatly affects like not only your decision making, but like who you are as a person. And like, if I were to think about like something about like any of my high school girlfriends or anything like that, like what, obviously, not obviously because it's possible, obviously, if you've done it, but like you would have never thought like, oh, this is going to be the person I'm going to be with like for the rest of my life or for a very long time.
Right.
Because you're being influenced by so much outside influence. Like when you're in high school, like you said you only partied a couple of times and you were focused on the business. I was not focused on a business. I was like, a high schooler, or even in middle school and stuff. So it's like these outside influences on your life can really negatively affect you in certain times. But I mean,
they're part of the experience though, right? Like,
they are part of the experience. Yeah.
You guys have part of an experience that I don't know what it feels like. Mm-hmm. That's been the sacrifice though. That's my social life has definitely been the sacrifice, and to be honest, it's been an easy sacrifice for me to make.
I was about to say, I'm at the point now where like my social life basically shouldn't even really be existing.
I don't hang out.
Yeah, you don't hang out. People would always talk. Yeah,
people ask me like, yo, like let's hang out and stuff, and it's just like, and do what? Like
sit on the couch.
We're not like I always tell people like, oh, you want to go to the bar? Yeah. Like, dude, it's like I've seen that episode before. I don't need to watch reruns. I don't need to go to your house and sit around a coffee table.
See, nobody even asks. People know not to even ask me to hang out anymore.
But like, real quick, I just wanted to bring up what you're saying with loss. Kind of like really had a. Like I was just thinking about that for a second, and I kind of really relate to that. It just happened a little bit later for me. I would say right after high school, my best friend ended up passing away because he was intoxicated behind the wheel.
Oh, fuck, dude.
And I was actually up at Northern Michigan University at the time when I got the news, and I was like alone. I didn't have like no one there or whatever, but the biggest eye-opener for me during that whole situation, I mean, rest in peace, Garth and everything, but the biggest eye-opener and, like, I would say overall disgust, if that's even the right word, was that all of, like, the kids in the friend group that, like, he kind of tied together all celebrated his death, or not celebrated, but mourned his death by doing drugs and what killed him in the first place. And I was just like, what are you doing right now? Like, how is that, like, you guys were like, oh, so much like cheers to Garth and stuff. And it's just like, that was like the separating moment for me, I think, when I like had that paradigm shift, if you will, and was like focused entirely on myself. And like, I don't hang out or talk to hardly any. I think there's one person from high school that I still talk to, but like it was, and he's a recovering. I mean, he's like 8 years clean now. So, but it's. I think
that's tough.
I think that
that's
what
tough,
what you bring up with loss, though, I think that definitely is completely valid in that like work ethic shift. You know, because like that was kind of when I stopped like hanging out, you know?
Right. Yeah. I remember just kind of like, I remember going back to school as that 10-year-old, and I'm just like looking around. I'm like, this doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? Like, not that education doesn't matter, school doesn't matter. I was a terrible student, by the way, but, it was just like, it gave me such a grasp of everything outside of what a routine of a 10-year-old is, right? Like going to hockey practice and, you know, trying to do my homework. I never did homework, but
yeah, me either.
Like,
I was a terrible student.
But like, you know what I mean? Like the responsibilities of things of a 10-year-old once you like, you know, experience loss, and it was just like, it gives you perspective, and either you're going to perceive that as something good or something bad.
Yeah, you have two choices.
You have two choices. That's a turning point where, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people fall into a hole for a while, and it may take you years to get out of it, and that's okay, you know. But it's like that's definitely one of the biggest lessons of life is loss, for sure.
And in the society that we live in today, there are so many distractions that make you feel like things are important. Like literally, like this tattoo I just got. Like I was reading like really deep back into like what that song actually meant the other day, because I was like, oh, I know what it is through the lyrics. But like I don't necessarily know like what the artist's take on this song was. It's Dogs by Pink Floyd. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I thought.
But is like they were talking about how, and this is in 1977. So they were just talking about how like corporate greed has taken over everything, and like we live in a world where there are people who are paid so much money to make you feel like you need these products. And this is like, everybody knows this, but like just reading over it again, just re-solidified in my mind. Like there are people who are going to try to tell you, corporations with good marketers and stuff, like this, without this product, you're not going to be what you need to be. And like, you're not going to have that societal status. And it says it's anything from the new iPhone to like a new car or anything like that. And you get that, and you have like this consumer, like, yes, I have this item now, I like have this status, but like, no, that you're only happy for like a little bit, and then like you're still in the same part in life. So like being able to not have these distractions and other things that, you know, can make you lose focus.
Yeah. I lost focus for a while there, because I was just like a young kid making good money, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy a Louis belt or something stupid.
Well, dude, that's not losing focus. That's not even like, if that's what you want, that's tight. You know, that's fine. Like if you like the way that you feel when you walk into a room with a Louis belt, that's okay. And one of the things too with like people when they're like saying,
stupid. It's so dumb.
No, it is.
I was the same way in high school. Dude, I always spent way too much money on designer.
And dude,
bullshit.
I mean, back in the glass trading games, like we were spending money on all this stuff, and it's like, yo, dude, if you can't afford it, you're just not balling enough. Like don't ask questions. You know what I mean? It's like this whole status thing.
Oh, it's so stupid.
But there is an extent where it's like, you know what, these are the things that make me happy. But if you can afford it and you can still get your shit done, like if you were making money in high school and you bought a Louis belt, I'd say you're doing way better than half the other kids in high school, just because you are focused enough to build that like up and get a Louis belt yourself without selling drugs or like getting all the money from like your parents or something like that.
Yeah, I get that. I think I just kind of wish I would have placed myself in a more mentally successful position, rather than, because I mean, like, it was just like, what do people perceive me as, right? Like, I've never truly to my core cared about what other people think of me, but it was more of like, you know what I mean? What do people see me wearing, or what do, you know, things like that. And it was like, I wish my priority would have been like, how can I be a very healthy mentally? How can I, help other people, help other friends that aren't healthy mentally, things like that. And that should have been my priority. But I mean, like it's a lesson. It was a quick, easy lesson that I went through that I now have to talk about, things like that.
Yeah, but
and you got a Louis belt to show for it.
I lost it.
Oh fuck!
It's okay. I mean, so
$400 down the drain.
It's crazy. You got me in like a spot right now where like I'm totally picking up on everything you're saying. Just like what you have, what a lot of people don't have, and I'm speaking from this is John Downing thoughts. These aren't facts. This is how I perceive the situation.
These are all thoughts, by the way.
Yeah,
all of this.
When people do things because they want validation from others. And it seems like a lot of people will waste their time because they're looking for validation from others and self-validating. And it seems like in this culture, like self-deprecation is like where it's cool. Like being a sad boy or, I'm like have an anxiety disorder, I'm depressed. And I'm not like discounting any of that stuff, but a lot of people like when you start to victimize yourself, you start to turn your brain in a direction that's not good. So you start to look for validation from other people, where it seems like from a young age, you were really good at self-validation. So like you weren't necessarily like, oh, I need to go party with these high schoolers so they can think I'm cool. You're like, no, I'm making money. I got a business going. Like I don't need them. I'm feeling validated in myself through my actions, which is
I definitely recognize that that's how I felt now. But then it wasn't even... none of these thoughts were in my head. It was just like it was so natural. It was so natural to just stay on that path and just keep doing that, and not even. It wasn't even on the weekends. It wasn't even a thought of, could I be getting drunk with my friends right now?
Yeah,
it wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that I didn't have that. I didn't have the tug. I wasn't being tugged in the middle of both ways, right? It was just so natural that I was just like, I'm going to do my thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my thing. And it was nice to have a small amount of validation from a couple of my teachers, because like I said, I was not a very good student. I averaged like C's and B's, but it's kind of hard to pay attention to school when you're making a living halfway through high school. You know what I mean? And
yeah, totally. I didn't even think of that. You were running your own business and doing your own thing.
Yeah, it was very hard to like even show
homework?
up. It was so hard to even like show up. But anyways, I had a small like 2 or 3 teachers that like saw what I was onto and just kind of like supported that. I mean, obviously you can't just like give me an A for anything. But they still saw something.
That's just another thing too about the society that we live in. And I feel like such a loser. Like, we live in a society. No, but like, there's probably a million other kids out there that are just like you that have a drive and do that. But then, like they're in this public school system where like, they might be getting bullied, or they might be getting harassed by a teacher because they're not doing good in school, and like they might not have been in the same mental space to be like you and be like, oh, I can go do this. Like it might have brought them down to an area where like they could have been flourishing, but like how to get like
the modern educational system is just beating you into a square to, I'm sure, like you're saying, all these kids have a lot of hopes and dreams.
At least they're now encouraging like trades and stuff like that,
right?
Yeah, like that was a whole thing.
It is shifting. I mean, like I'm thankful that society, like when I eventually have kids, at least they're gonna have the option of doing something besides college, or if they want to do college. I mean, like obviously there's certain things that you know what I mean, you're not going to YouTube how to do surgery and go walk into an OR. So
though you probably could nowadays.
Yeah. I'll call you if I ever need anything.
Call me Dr. Nick from The Simpsons.
Oh, man.
Metaverse operation rooms.
I'm not sure I understand the whole metaverse thing yet. I know that it's going to be a thing when we're old and crippled. Yeah. But I'm not sure I understand how it's gonna. I've been in thoughts of like how I could build something around it. Like even if it is like I saw one of the first pieces of metaverse content I saw was this super wide angle, like floating into a train and going through suites of a train and like transport in the metaverse, right? And I was thinking like, do I hire a coder that knows how to do these smooth camera things so that I can contract out and have a metaverse production company? I don't know. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
where to put all, like those different eggs in what baskets.
Right. I don't know. My mind is just like
the metaverse isn't like I feel like once the metaverse reaches like Grand Theft Auto 5 quality, then it's game over. But like right now, it's really far behind that.
Right.
To where I think there's that like.
But I think in order for metaverse to really hit scale, I think VR has to hit scale first. So right now I'm kind of like figuring.
Apple glasses are coming out this year. Just wait.
Oh, they are?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do a VR wedding experience because I know my couples will pay it.
Yo, that would be sick.
I'm gonna do a nice like Apple box presentation with two pairs of goggles and like I have a whole vision for it, but I mean like I just haven't had time to work on that or anything. I have so many different ideas that I want to try, but.
That's fucking awesome.
But I just have too many personal things I'm trying to do too. I'm trying to still live a personal life, you know?
That's the hard part, man. The separating the work from personal shit, cuz like I'll find myself just constantly learning or constantly researching when it's like my girlfriend's like, hello, like I'm here.
Oh
fuck, I'm sorry.
Yeah, shout out to Savannah again because we'll be like in Grand Rapids visiting her grandparents and I'm like, I got a lead for a job tomorrow. Can I take it and we can go home tonight? You know, like things like that. She's been dealing with that for so long and she's just amazing with it because my schedule's everywhere. And it's crazy as your guys' probably are.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because I feel like when you say something like, oh, I got a lead over here for something, it's not like, yo, we're in a position where we're gonna miss mortgage payment, so like I need to take this job to work to make money. So like your ends are obviously money, but at the same time your ends are just like maybe it's this self-validation thing. Like I can do that next thing. I do want to help grow my company into a bigger and better place. Like every time, as you know, like whenever you nail a deal with a client, you're like, yes. Or like whenever you got some good news, you're like, yes, I did it, So
it's just fueling that fire, that creative like demon on your shoulder, angel, or however you want to look at it. Like,
and a lot of people do that with like investments in like offshore oil and like this and that, like things that are just not necessarily the best for like the world. But the fact that you're doing it for like, yo, I'm creating an experience for like people's weddings or like I'm helping.
Yeah, I'm super excited to move into our new studio next week. We so Free Age just bought the old Detroit Mercantile, which was it used to be a firehouse for Detroit with like horse stables and stuff.
Oh wow!
So they bought the end of the building, and Jim came to me and was just like, "Hey, you want to run Midtown Media Co out of there?" And I was just like, "This is the moment. Like this is what I've been waiting for 8 years."
And which one's Jim? He's from that other company.
So yeah, Jim's a director at Free Age. He does amazing work. He's been learning from him has been really amazing. Just learning how he's able to work with clients, and especially I think yesterday I really enjoyed watching him interviewing people or pulling information out of people while they're on camera, like things like that. Like I've been really learning from. But yeah, they bought this new like 2,000 square foot space, and they're moving from their old Eastern Market studio, and now they have like a building, and we're going to be joining them. So it's going to be
damn, that's huge. Congrats.
Yeah. I really appreciate that. Yeah. It's not financially a huge thing that we're like ready for, but we're ready for it. You know what I mean? Like I'm just going to keep going step by step as we can do things, I guess. Like obviously I've been able to save money and stuff so we can do things like this, but it's like it's funny because about a year right before the pandemic I was gonna go do this. A friend of mine owns a big building in downtown Wyandotte, and it's called The Offices, right? And they divided. It's basically a co-working space, but it's just like smaller 15-foot by 15-foot offices. And I was gonna rent one of those out. For some reason, something in my head told me that wasn't the time yet. And then this popped up, and I'm just like, holy shit, dude. I'm like, holy shit, this is happening.
It's definitely on our goals is to get that studio space. I'm hoping by the end of this year, but
for sure.
We'll see.
Yeah. Where are you guys looking at? Are you going to look anywhere yet or no?
I mean, I would like to migrate to Detroit eventually.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I could never afford to go to Detroit if it weren't for them offering me,
That's the thing. You got to, exactly. I mean, they own the building, you said too. Yeah. So you got chill landlords and everything too, or just like that relationship.
I kind of want to bring it back here because we're talking about a whole different concept. You're telling me that there's 2 different production companies that do, both create video content operating out of the same building under two completely different entities?
So it'll be Free Age and Midtown Media Co. Obviously, it's primarily going to be Free Age because they own the building. They have very large agency clients coming in. I will be doing mostly wedding consultations and experience for my couples, which I'm so excited to curate that for them, because I've been doing for the last 8 years. I've been either meeting in coffee shops and I took the spare bedroom of my house turn it into an office where my editor would come in every day and do his thing.
That's what this used to be.
Yeah. No, so you know what the struggle's like, kind of working and living under the same roof. One minute I'm replying to emails, and the next I'm doing my laundry or meal prepping or whatever it is.
Trey's got the codes and the keys to my house and everything. So.
Yeah, no, exactly. So like I've never felt like more ready for the transition of like, okay, I'm actually gonna lay out my schedule for the week, and like I'm in the office these days, I have meetings these days, like things like that.
But what I'm getting at here is like back to what I was saying, like you have two companies that are selling the same product, not necessarily, but working under the same thing, which in the world of capitalism is like a huge no-no. You wouldn't have a Wendy's and a McDonald's in the same place. Like two places are selling cheeseburgers. You're not like, let's partner up with another people that sell cheeseburgers, and we'll try to figure out how we can make this work.
Free Age is more agency automotive.
Yeah, they're a much larger company. So
it's a relationship.
I totally get what you're saying, because I had those thoughts when I first when I first was like, yeah, I'll do it, and I think it's going to be beneficial for the both of us, because not only can I leverage my team towards anything that they need. Yeah. That obviously helps the both of us. So it's gonna be great. I'm really excited for it. And again, Jim and Danny they've been amazing towards my career so far. Yeah. In that portion of agency work, obviously, I've been able to have, 4 to 5 different connections with agency work like that, but they're definitely the most fun. Yeah. The most fun to work with.
That's awesome. It's not very often that you see that in the world that we live in today, where companies can come together and do that.
And I've seen it firsthand, because some of the other larger agencies, like Free Age, they just simply don't operate like they do, and they don't have the social skills like Jim and Danny do. They're just really, really great guys to work with. So it's been like, I don't know, it's just crazy to me that the first connection that I got within this industry is like the connection. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It felt the same way.
All who you know.
Yeah. It's cool though. I'm excited for what's coming. What's on your guys' radar?
So
we got a couple projects that we can't necessarily talk about just yet. Okay.
We can talk about them when we end the podcast, which we should probably do here soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang for a few minutes so I can just shoot the shit with you guys.
Let's hit this cutting point, and we can jump off the record here and talk about some stuff. I think if there's anything else that you guys want to cover.
No, I mean, we're at 2 hours. That's the longest podcast.
We're at 2 hours.
2 already?
153.
Oh, wow. I looked down and it was just passing 1, and then I looked down and it's another hour's passed.
Sorry, I dragged this out, guys.
You didn't drag it out, dude. We're having a combo. This is the type of shit that I like to talk about because, it's really cool to talk with people about camera stuff, but it's also cool to talk to people about life experiences and kind of how everybody operates.
I think the external is more important to the cameras. Like that's how
they're just tools.
Because there's so many people that can do the same DP work that you and I can do, that can do the same gimbal movements you and I can do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
It's same editing techniques.
It's all the same. It's all the same. So that's how everything else matters so much more. So it's just been, it's cool. It's cool to have guys like you that like I can actually have conversations with.
I say the same thing. We definitely had a fun time with you.
That was the goal with this podcast and just starting it in general, is just to be able to talk shop. And I mean, we never get to we're always with the people that we've had on and you and stuff. I mean, the handful of times that we've crossed paths, it's all been on set to where we can kind of chat, but at the end of the day, it's all right, we have a job to do. So we never get that chance to sit down with our peers and kind of just shoot the shit.
Yeah, I haven't in a while. So it was great, guys. I
hang out. So
well, I really appreciate you guys having me, and we should do this again sometime.
Definitely. Is there anything you want to plug before we go?
Oh yeah. Well, I would say my Instagram, but I don't know, to be honest. I mean, go check out MidtownMediaCo.com. That's where, I mean, that you're just going to see a lot of wedding content there. So you're probably not going to want.
If you're getting married,
I was going to say, if you guys aren't booked out already throughout the whole next season,
probably not going to want to go to that website and look at wedding stuff. But honestly, just I'm going to work on recovering my Instagram, I guess.
Yeah.
So
build a portfolio page for yourself if you are doing a lot of freelance stuff as well. I mean, I know you're kind of getting your solidified in with the other agency and stuff, but I've found that, I mean, Instagram is a great portfolio. I mean, granted, yours is a little under the weather right now, but Instagram is a great portfolio, but to have that other just website that's solely dedicated just for work.
You're saying TreySarmento.com
or NoahMendez.com or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good thought.
So I have TreySarmento.com that's just all the photos, and I have video gigs that I've done and just kind of an online resume.
Yeah, I've been working on putting together my DP reel for just stuff that because with the buddy that I'm going to tell you about their business model and stuff, I'm going to be doing a lot of DP work and stuff like that for them, just basic interviews and stuff like that. So
nice.
Yeah, definitely a reel would be nice for sure. A website.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
It's just it adds a level of professionalism to your portfolio,
for sure.
Because if people are like, oh, send me your portfolio, and you send them an Instagram link,
sure.
it's just
for sure.
But thanks for sticking around,
really
guys.
Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, Noah.
I appreciate you guys having me.
It's dope sesh.
Well, that concludes episode 11 of the Dropcast. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace.